There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong. Could there be a question of judgment about his son? Well, that's fair game. But
is there an optical problem for Joe Biden because his son was in a position to be making a lot of money from a company that was in a foreign country?
You know, Judy, this is the goal of the Trump strategy. It is to raise questions. There is no evidence that either one of them did anything wrong. Could there be a question of judgment about his son? Well, that's fair game. But there is absolutely no evidence, and there will not be any evidence.
How is your role as vice president in charge of policy in Ukraine and your son's job in Ukraine? How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not going to respond to that. Let's focus on the problem. Focus on this man, what he's doing, that no president has ever done. No president.
Family, and so this is a complicated area of discussion for the former vice president. So I'm told he did not want to sit down for interviews or other things this week because he didn't want to, specifically be asked a lot of Hunter Biden-like questions. But
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
And if Don Jr. did it, it would be all Rachel Maddow was talking about.
Hypothetically speaking, do you think that somebody who, like a son or a daughter or a relative of a politician or a president, should be working for an international oil company?
Should not.
They shouldn't be?
They should not be.
Why do you think that?
There's a conflict of interest, in my opinion.
With the accusations against Trump trying to get Ukraine to interfere with the election, everything already sounds pretty suspicious. I think the fact that his son is working for a foreign company like that could possibly give him some interest in whatever Donald Trump is trying to do, but possibly. But then again, I think he's also the president's son, and I think he could be doing a million other things. He has so many opportunities at his foot.
So what if I told you it was actually Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, that was on the board of the Ukrainian oil company? Would you feel the same way? Do you think that that's corrupt or wrong?
Well, I think in naturally in human nature, wherever there's power, the more power you get, the more corrupt you tend to become.
What if I told you that it was actually Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, who was the one who was working for the Ukraine oil company? Does that change your opinion about anything? Do you think that it matters that it wasn't Donald Trump's son?
Was it during the time when he was vice president, or if it is when he was not in authority, then it doesn't matter to me.
You don't think it matters that even though he's running to be president in 2020, that shouldn't affect his nomination for 2020?
Of course not.
So what if I told you it was actually Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, that was on the board of the Ukrainian oil company making that much money? Do you think that would be corrupt? Do you think that deserves to get looked into?
I definitely think that should be looked into because you don't know what family ties could have and what he could be working towards or doing in the presidency. So I do think it shouldn't be overlooked at all.
Especially because he's running for president.
Yeah, running for president.